So a couple weeks ago, I did a video on a $40 mechanical keyboard, a real $40 mechanical keyboard from Red Dragon. It had backlighting and it was real knockoff mechanical switches. And you guys seemed to love that video. It got a ton of views and a lot of positive feedback. So I was browsing Amazon and happened to come across this keyboard in front of me. This is a keyboard from Tomoko. Again, it's a real mechanical keyboard, and in this time it costs $34. And that does have an asterisk because right now I believe it costs $38. I bought it when it cost $34, and the price seems to fluctuate a little bit between in the 30s from like $34 to $38. So your results may vary, but it has lowered the price of a cheap real mechanical keyboard even further, so I'm excited to check it out. And it does have one trick up its sleeve. Not only is it a real mechanical keyboard, it's advertised to be water resistant, and we will definitely be testing that out. Typically I'd give away a product if the video reached a certain amount of likes, but on dealhunter.tech we just launched a mailing list so you can get emailed the daily deals every single day. So if you want to win this keyboard, all you have to do is go to the link in the description below, put in your email and sign up for the daily deal emails, and then comment down below that you want to win this keyboard. I'll be announcing the winner on my Twitter in about a week, and then we will get in contact and you'll get this $34 mechanical keyboard. Alright, so while we're at the desk, let's go ahead and do an overview of the keyboard and a typing test, and then we'll get on to the more interesting water resistance test because I'm really curious to see how that works. So surprisingly, for $34, there is actually some what seems to be a metal housing or metal plate, at least some type of harder reinforcement. So it does have a pretty good build quality. It's not gonna flex at all or anything. The key caps are probably the cheapest part of the keyboard. You can kind of just press them and you know that they're really like ABS plastic and they're just not that high quality, but that's forgivable at this price point. The key switches are definitely knockoff switches. I can't even actually read what the knockoff brand is because it's like on clear housing, but they're knockoff Cherry MX Blue switches, so you do get the clicky sound. And then I guess moving on to the back, you have rubber feet, and the feet that actually elevate the keyboard have rubber pads on them, which is extremely nice to see. There are high-end mechanical keyboards that don't have that, so seeing it at this price point is very nice. And I guess in general, it just has that floating key look, which I'm a big fan of personally. It's got a nice small form factor. And I guess before we get into the water test, I'm just gonna type a little bit so you can hear an example of what it will sound like if you get one for yourself. So that's what it sounds like, pretty much just like Cherry MX Blues, but again, they're just knockoff switches. And honestly, for the price, you really can't go wrong. Alright, so here's the keyboard. The advertised water resistance comes from these 3 vents down here. They say that the water can just drain out of these vents and it'll be completely fine. Obviously, that means there's gonna be a waiting period and we're gonna have to let it dry off before plugging it back in and trying, because there still will be water in there that could mess it up if we turned it on too early. And I mean, it's supposed to protect against like spills with a cup, but just to really test it, I'm just gonna run it under the sink for a little bit. And then I'd say we'll wait about an hour or so until we can't see any water, and we'll go ahead and try and plug it in and seeing if it works. All right, well, yeah, you can see the water draining out. That is definitely very wet. I guess we'll throw it on a towel or something for now. It's completely soaked, and I guess we'll check back in about an hour. And after being outside, you can definitely tell that the top plate is metal because it's nice and cold at the top, while the bottom is probably a plastic, maybe some sort of alloy, but there's definitely still some moisture on the keyboard, so I'm very interested to see if this works. Because theoretically, like everything electronic, if it gets wet and completely dries off as if there was never any moisture, it should work as it did before. So that's really what the vents are going for, just to be able to get that moisture out of the inside of the keyboard. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it in. Oh! Well, there you go. Waterproof it is. You just have to give it some time to let it dry. Ended up being about 2 hours. We let it outside to dry, and it works perfectly. So it performs as advertised. Well done. So that's it for this video. This is a $34 real mechanical keyboard. I love that the industry is pushing that price down, and we're seeing cheaper and cheaper mechanical keyboards. Because once you use a mechanical keyboard, it doesn't make sense why people use Reverdome keyboards. They're so superior in every single way. Everybody should be using a mechanical keyboard, and the price is starting to reflect that. With that out of the way, thank you for watching, subscribe to see more content, and as always, stay classy.